Alien fans have been patiently awaiting the next film in the franchise, be it a third and perhaps final part in Ridley Scott's prequel series, or some take on what could be Alien 5. Both Ridley and James Cameron were actually in line at one point long ago to make a fifth Alien movie, but the studio's choice to go forward with Alien vs. Predator made both directors step back and exit stage left. Then there was Neil Blomkamp's Alien 5 ideas that made the rounds back in 2015, but the studio ended up going with Alien Covenant instead. 2 years after Covenant, in 2019, Walter Hill, producer and co-writer on Alien and Alien 3 of Brandywine Productions, would then write his own take on Alien 5. This draft was then given to Sigourney Weaver, but it failed to convince her to reprise the role of Ellen Ripley at the time. Yet a recent interview with Ridley Scott, along with a somewhat cryptic yet easy to decipher website Easter egg in plain sight, if you will, causes me to believe that Alien 5 in some form may be hatching sometime in the near future. After the release of 2017's Alien Covenant, about every 6 months or so, we'd hear from some interview that Ridley Scott is still working on his next prequel film. At first, the news was all about Alien Awakening, where Scott said there were still engineers out there amongst the stars who would learn of what David did on Planet 4, their homeworld, and that the remaining engineers would return in force to face off with David and his xenomorph army. Sounded like a great movie, a film that perhaps might have been able to win over some of the people who disliked Prometheus and Covenant. Years later, however, Scott would switch it up, now saying that the focus would be on AI or David himself, and the new world that he would build with the colonists from the Covenant. Notice this time, there was no mention of the alien or the engineers. Yet I knew that with the studio in the middle of the Disney deal during all of this prequel talk, that it would be best to wait and see what information comes out when the deal is finally done and the franchise overseers are back in charge. And as it turns out, this was good thinking to follow, because in a recent interview, Scott had this to say when asked if he was working on the next Alien film. That's in process. We went down a route to try to reinvent the wheel with Prometheus and Covenant. Whether or not we go directly back to it is doubtful, because Prometheus woke it up very well. But you're asking fundamental questions like, has the alien himself, the facehugger, the chestburster, have they all run out of steam? Do you have to rethink the whole bloody thing and simply use the word to franchise? That's always the fundamental question. So it looks like the prequel series will remain unfinished for the time being, yet he did say that a new film is, quote, in process. But what does this mean? Is he slated to direct a new sequel, or is he attached in some other way, like as a producer? As for him talking about the need to rethink the alien, he said this before. As a matter of fact, he's been saying it since Prometheus came out, that the alien needs to evolve in order to move forward. They handled this well with the neomorphs and the Deacon, in my opinion, but not so well with the space jockey. But there's something else that makes me think that Alien 5 is closer to becoming a reality than we think it is. Brandywine, the company that produced all of the Alien films, including the AVP offerings, has made a recent change to their website with a not-so-cryptic hint saying that Alien 5 is in fact in the works. Normally their site looks like this. But with the recent change, it now looks like this. Notice they're still using the same Alien font, but now, in place of the egg from the poster of 1979's Alien, sits a Roman numeral 5. To me, this just has to be a tease for Alien 5. I'm willing to bet that Walter Hill has been working on that Alien 5 draft that he gave Sigourney 2 years ago, and that now, with revisions to her character and the inclusion of Ridley Scott, that she is now on board. It's also possible that they have moved on without Sigourney, but I highly doubt it. The Alien films have been viewed by outsiders as failures after the first two, and the studio knows they have a much better chance of striking gold once again with the return of Ellen Ripley. Things could all be coming full circle. Neil Blomkamp had an early working title of Alien Awakening for his project. Then months later, we find out that Ridley Scott's third prequel was to be called Awakening as well. And then Walter Hill's Alien 5 draft includes the tagline, "In space, no one can hear you dream." A take on the original tagline, "In space, no one can hear you scream." Well, as it turns out, Blomkamp was thinking about writing Alien 3 and 4 out of the timeline somehow, in order to bring Ripley back. And I wouldn't be surprised if Walter Hill's Alien 5 was going down this same route, with Sigourney Weaver waking up from a dream, perhaps in hypersleep, where Alien 3 and Resurrection were all in her head. If Alien 5 is gonna happen anytime soon, this is the right setup for it to happen. Walter Hill writing, Ridley Scott in the director's chair, Scott Free and Brandywine producing, and Sigourney Weaver returning once again as Ellen Ripley. So what do you guys think about this latest news? Am I putting too much into this? Or do you think Alien 5 might just be on its way? I just don't see Brandywine, a production company, teasing something coming out unless they're pretty sure it's gonna happen. Will Alien 3 and 4 become nothing more than hypersleep dreams? To be honest, I hope I'm right on this one. As much as I want that third film of the prequel series for completion's sake, I think a sequel, rather than a prequel, has a much better chance of getting things back on track. I look forward to reading your thoughts on this down in the comments. Take care, guys, and I hope to see you next time.